What's happening, everyone? It's Kyle from Magpie 24/7, and yeah, Manchester United 4, Newcastle United 1, and for the second time this season we'll concede 4 goals, and it is now 12 goals conceded in 4 games, so we're averaging 3 goals conceded per game, and we decided to get rid of Lejeune and loan out Kel Watts and not bring in a centre back in the summer at all. So we're weaker than we were last season. We'll concede 12 goals from the first 4 games. We're in the relegation zone and we don't look like we're going to win a game anytime soon. So yeah, it's just. I mean, don't get us wrong. Going into the game today, I'm just dreading it. I wasn't looking forward to the game today at all. I knew exactly what we were up against today. I knew it was a hard game coming, especially with the way we've been playing. But just it was the thing is, you expect something to happen, you expect a certain way we play and stuff like that, and it still crushes you when it happens. Like I knew exactly how we were going to play today. Just put 10 men in front of the ball and hope we can boot the ball up to St Maximin and hope he can run 30-40 yards long enough for the rest of the team to catch him and bring them into the game, and that was literally the tactic. It happened to an absolute T. Steve Bruce doing what he loves to do and roll over and get his belly rubbed at Old Trafford. Again, smiling in his post-match interviews. It's just embarrassing. He was caught smiling with Ollie last season, and he's smiling again. I mean, it's not. To be honest, Steve, there's nothing funny about your managerial tenure here at Newcastle. You drive them into the ground despite you being the most invested manager in the Ashley era and stuff. As depressing as it's been, you've been the most backed manager in that time, and you're taking us to the championship. And it's just, when's this gonna end? Like it's that negative. I'm kind of looking at it as one more game closer to the end of the Steve Bruce era. I cannot wait for him to leave. Like, I've never disliked a manager more than I've disliked Steve Bruce. He's sitting there smiling in his press conferences, and he's saying, now we can do end of about the transfer window, not even fighting for it. And it kind of summed it up with the performance today. I mean, every TV flipping broadcaster, anyone like that, any radio broadcaster, wanking themselves oblivious to Ronaldo coming back to England and stuff. And to be honest, I don't think there's an easier team he could have played Paddy's debut against, because we made it easy for him. Because all we did was put five at the back, 4 midfield, and hope we could hit them on the break. And to be fair, we caught them a couple of times, and it was just literally a case of we could have nicked something if we were a bit more clinical. But like, goals, not a result. But like, to be fair, it was a case of failure of preparation. I wonder why. Oh wait, because one manager spent 5 days in Portugal on a golfing trip. Yeah. I mean, it might not have made a little bit of difference today, the extra preparation and stuff, but it's just the lack of care from the manager and the lack of preparation that is worrying, because he's not really arsed. It's just kind of goes through the motions, and that's it really. He won't make any changes. It'll be the same next week, in hope we can get a result at Watford. No, sorry, against Leeds at home, which is now a massive game, by the way. But one thing I did want to talk about was Freddie Woodman. I know the kid will get a lot of stick for the way he played today. He was a fault for 2 of the goals, in my opinion. And in fact, I think a good goalkeeper would have saved Fernandez's too. Better positioned, but kind of get on the kid's back. He's a young goalkeeper, got a lot to learn. I think in terms of his Newcastle career, it might go on hold, be stagnant, or even be over. Because I think Darlow will come back in next week. I'll be very surprised if Freddie keeps his place, but don't attack him too much. At the end of the day, he's a young goalkeeper being through in the deep end, and yeah, he doesn't deserve all the criticism. He had a great season last season at Swansea. People kind of just write him off straight away because of one mistake. So there are 2 bad mistakes. Don't get us wrong, but Yeah, the defending for them as well, mind, in the lead up was very poor. The ball going out wide like it has all season. Every team's exploited it. Steve Bruce still doesn't know how to plug the hole, or plug the gap and sort it out tactically. Clearly not being worked on in training because he's too busy playing fucking golf. Um, it's just a shambles. I mean, we did get back into it, and yeah, hats out to everybody who was watching his goal today. One is today. It was a flipping nightmare. The only one I caught was the fourth Man United goal, and it was like pausing between I was like, oh, Newcastle have an attack. What's going on? What's going on? And then I just see 1-1. I'm like, fucking get in. But short lived. I mean, it was nice while it lasted. It was a cracking finish, by the way, from Manquillo. By the way, Steve Bruce. I mean, if you're watching, you've probably turned off by now because I've told you you're a fucking dick. But um, don't drop Manquillo again. Because I thought he was really good today. I thought he was a refreshing presence on the overlap. He defended well, and he knew where to be positionally, and he cracking finish. Like, I know Jacob Murphy is liked among Newcastle fans, and I know he's liked with the management as well. But for me, you've got to play Manquillo, because I can't believe I have to explain this, but he's a right back, so playing right back instead of playing a right winger at right back. It kind of goes for the defence as well. I mean, I'm not going to attack Isaac Hayden. He didn't do much wrong today, but you play two defenders on the bench. Uh, you play you have two centre backs on the bench, and you have a midfielder in defence, which is, it's just more of the mystery that is one manager, isn't it? And then when it goes to 1-1, we chuck it away, and then we just capitulate after that. Typical under Steve Bruce, near fight. For me, just typical run through the motions kind of defeat, as it always is. And I'm sure you'll say, oh, we defended well, and there's positive. There's no positives, mate. Like, there's nothing at all. We've scored a couple of goals here and there, but how many goals do we have to score per game to get a point or to win a game? The only point this season we had to score two, and we've conceded 12 this season in 4 games. So it's not looking good. We've got the worst defence in the league, I think, currently. Flooding goals like it's like going out of fashion. I just don't know what to say. It is, to be honest. With this next game against Leeds is huge for our season, and I just, if we get beat, I just don't see Steve Bruce surviving it. I really don't. I think the club have made their stance pretty clear, chucking Steve Bruce under the bus, which is about time they did, because he's clearly underperformed with the team. It's a miracle that we finished 12th last season. Um, and yeah, it was just just a surrender today from Steve Bruce tactically. I think. I mean, don't get us wrong. I think we defended well in parts and stuff like that, but we're just sitting off Man United. They were very wasteful for it only to be four, in my opinion. And I think we could have took our chances, but ultimately, like, we just didn't aim to compete with them. We just aimed to not concede loads of goals, which is something Paul has used on the podcast a number of times last season. You can lose, lads, but not by too many, and that's really the vibe I get from Newcastle under Steve Bruce. I mean, it's just dire straits. Like I've said before, I cannot wait to see the back of this manager. Cannot wait to see the back of the manager. And I think if we go, I said this before the Southampton game, but I think if we go 1-0 down against Leeds, I can see the stadium just turning on a knife edge towards Steve Bruce. I really do, because this manager has got the fan base so bloody toxic. There's a lot of fans that really dislike him now, and it's really difficult to get behind a team when the manager is just so toxic and just diluting any opinion at all. There's just no fan voice behind the team because of the dislike for this manager. And for me, he's got to go. Like, it's that time now. But yeah, I mean, the third and fourth goal were absolutely horrendous again defensively. Nobody goes to Bruno Fernandes. He has the freedom of Manchester to hit the ball. And then for the fourth one, I mean, they're just playing it through. By this point, they're bringing on Jeff Hendrick, and that's substitutions. Pogba plays through the middle. Lingard sends Jamal Lewis for a nice scream and a bag of crisps and puts it in the net. But the positives today for me, probably two players. I think Manquillo played well and he shouldn't be dropped. Although, you know what Steve Bruce does, he leaves players out in the cold for the longest time, gives them the hardest appearance possible to come back to, and then he puts them back in the cold again if they even play well. He's done that. He did that to Matty last season, and and he's probably going to do that to Manquillo this season. So that's one positive. Manquillo played well and made a good impact for me. And then the second one, I thought Miggy was absolutely outstanding today. Kept picking the ball up in the midfield, and I think he was the one midfielder that didn't look completely out of his depth. I think Willock did a little bit, and I think Sean did as well. Just the quality of Man United's midfielder can be difficult, but I think Miggy played really well in picking the ball and being a threat on the counter, and definitely his best performance of the season. Even though he's not playing in his correct position, he still played very well today. So I try and find positives, but the way it is with Newcastle, and with being 19th with 1 point and conceding the amount of goals we have and already being out of the cup, very bleak. But aye, let us know what you think of the day's game, and let us know also how you feeling towards going into the Leeds games, because there's rumours of Bruce has 2 games to save his job. That's one rumour, and the other one is there's going to be alleged protests for the Leeds game, so let us know what you think of that as well. But yeah, another game, another bleak performance, another dismal surrender at Old Trafford, and it just doesn't seem to be looking up at the minute. But yeah, love yous and leave us for now, and hopefully there's a win around the corner somewhere. But I think that corner's a bit far at the minute. But yeah, catch us in a bit. Everyone says that.